Here we go. We are off. Game one, both series of NA teams versus Chinese teams. Golden Guardians were able to get a victory off of Billy, who have looked strong, but who have looked mortal. We will see C9, who was dominant domestically. We have an incredible carry package, both playing inside out from the mid lane and playing from bottom. Fudge has been holding his own as well. It will be very interesting to see how he does in this Kennen to Gnar matchup. We have a Sylas in the mid lane. We have Talia, Lucian Nami on bottom, which they wrapped up as an answer to Xayah Rakan. Now, Xayah Rakan I will take 100 times out of 100 in this matchup. So I'm excited to see what Berserker can do and whether or not they can flex this early advantage at level 1, right? Once we get to 2, it's pretty... it's still favored to Xayah Rakan. At level 3, however, Lucian Nami take it for a small portion. And if they can get favorable trades... basically, whoever gets the first favorable trade is going to set the tone for what's going on in the game. Now, importantly, Gnar getting the share of gold and experience on that ward kill means that he's going to hit level 2 first. Now, they did see him do it, so expect Kennen to either pull the wave or to start stacking a slow push. He's going to do one or the other, but make no mistake about it, he's going to do something. We see the early aggression coming up from Berserker Sven, Xayah Rakan, but they actually seed out as they lose the minion advantage here. And is this on purpose? Is this to set up a Nocturne play? Now look at this, Billy, same ward that we saw last time. They did correct their mistake. They got it just a Teemo width deeper into the map, which will be enough to see the camp for sure. But also will not see Nocturne if he hugs this wall. So that was our scouting report last time. Doesn't look like Cloud9 wants to do anything about it or that they didn't know. But here we go. We see this aggression. Level 1. Here we go. This is going to favor Xayah Rakan. Although can Rakan continue the damage? The burst is down. The Nami cooldowns will come up first. And C9 end up staying just a tad too long. All 3 potions being burned by Berserker here. Which there's no way that they had enough time to tick, right? So this is us, a little bit of a panic play, not a good sign. Berserker using all 3 charges of his potion, something that you never want to do in case they are able to consolidate the victory. Nice job by Nocturne getting the spell shield off and then the fear, getting a completely one-sided trade. Here we go. Oh, you can't step up Zen right there. What was that? There's 5 minions in your face. You're trying to hold on to that versus Lucian Nami. That is a mistake. So now we'll see if they opt to punish. We're going to be approaching level 3 in the bot lane. We've got Vi coming nearby. I expect to see Sylas ready to come down, and I might even see a Kennen teleport. Kennen's got the Gnar well and truly under base. Here we go. Good trade back there. Beautifully done by Berserker. Way to see that opportunity, Sven, realizing that Elk has overstepped, does not have any more cooldowns, and is able to regain the advantage of the lead. Now, this is where Longsword versus Doran's Blade is going to show itself. First medium completed item that's going to come in. However, we're not nearly there, right? Xayah's going to be looking to try to back with at least Longsword plus Dagger. If not boots and longsword, to just make sure that they can get in and out of these trades whenever they need to, especially with a Vi coming out of the jungle. But yeah, if a dive were to come, Kennen had Gnar pushed under turret, would have been able to step back and get out. There's no threat of being stopped there. Upfront damage trade. Well, you don't need to back right now. And in fact, this is a little desynchronization. They're both pressing back. This is not a promising sign, right? You could have had one of them, especially Rakan, could have stepped forward and postured. You posture, you threat, and then you dash back to your teammate and finish the recall with them. So not taking advantage of that ability means that they're going to lose this cannon at least, and then it looks like probably 2 other minions before they get back in. Now, Fudge, I like that he's looking for trades. However, that one was ill-timed indeed. Going up into the vision of the ward, getting hit by all 5 of those minions while trading with Bin is definitely not something you want to be doing on that top lane. We will see the advantage of Doran's Blade versus Doran's Shield. A little bit easier for Fudge to continue the pressure and have the more all-in threat. You kind of see where that matchup will lie. Gnar is happy to get out of it and just go and say, hey, I'm the bigger team fighter. If we both show up to the team fight, I'm going to win. So happy to just trade in the wave, take the good trades that come to him. This Bin has been an outstanding performer domestically, but did take a backseat to Elk in the last series. Elk was doing just a fine job himself of carrying games, and Bin went on to the Scion, and they absolutely destroyed the game when he played tanks. So might see Bin just flexing, say, hey, I can be good at tanks too, not just a Jax one trick. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this is going to evolve in the Fudge versus Bin story, the narrative up in the top lane. Now, Nocturne dutifully getting his way to level 6. He's going to be a couple more camps. We've got one more cycle through the jungle. We'll get him to 6. Should be on pace for about a 725 level 6 and probably a gank bottom immediately. It is worth noting that we have double teleport on Billy. That is not going to be playable into the Nocturne ult. You do have about a quarter second where you can get your teleport off in response to the paranoia being cast, but if you are not on that exact moment, and if your team hasn't already decided, hey, this might be an opportunity for them to go in, then you might be too late. Now check out beautifully played by Rakan here, taking the maximum amount of damage, but stopping just long enough, and Berserker holding onto his flash too long, allowing Elk to live, means that both of them end up dying, and this wave is going to get crashed in. The upside for this means that Blabber is going to pick up this wave. Why are you taking any amount of damage here, Blabber? This makes no sense. Perhaps he's trying to get an empowered auto attack on player characters on top of the minions. I don't know. It did not seem like he needed to take that trade at all. Now, he might be careful to leave this wave, right? He doesn't want to get a second empowered auto attack that would scuff the lane completely for Xayah. So instead, he leaves it behind, says, I'm going to leave this here for Xayah Rakan. I picked up enough of the experience, and the light at the end of the tunnel is going to be that Nocturne will hit 6 faster, having picked up a half wave for himself there. And it looks like they're actually going to consolidate here on this fight, and they will be able to get it. Is it going to come down to a fight? It will. And they end up getting the kill because of it. Now let's see if they turn the fight to the right or to the left. They're going to win on the left side. They're going for the Nami or for the Lucian. Nami's going to get some speed buffs off away, but Nocturne getting another big kill means that he's going to be stepped up to getting 6 even faster. Now no flash here, no cleanse means that Sylas should be able to continue this fight. Ops not to. Again, deciding not to use flash proactively. I don't know if it wasn't conveyed to their team that the Lucian has no tools left. Right, if you just flash on and make sure that you're getting all those autos in between those spells, then you absolutely would have gotten that kill, and well would it have been worth it. Instead, Elk is able to just chill under the turret, pick up these CS for himself, but he is going to have to get out, which means that Xayah is going to hard push the wave, and here they go. Lucian, if they opt to stay, will be dead to a Nocturne gank here, who has just hit 6 off of the Krug's camp. I would like to see you actually go further south. Looks like he's hugging the wall. Let's check out this replay. Trying to consolidate their play, but you know what? You engage on the Vi. And here we go. This is the penalty. Why did you stay here, Lucian? Hubris. Giving the kill to Xayah, getting it absolutely perfectly played. They're also going to get this plate, which means that Xayah is now going to be huge. So huge, in fact, that Xayah has already amassed a bounty, as has the Nocturne, which seems rather quick for this game. They're only 1k in the gold lead. Seems kind of bizarre, guys. But anyways, indicative of how much they've taken the advantage these past 2 minutes, right? They gave up the dragon but won the fight, and then Lucian stuck around and, you know, got what came to him. That was a bad decision. You cannot stay in that situation. 20% health versus champions as mobile as Rakan. So perhaps more nerves being showed by everybody. We'll see who is able to bounce back from the mistakes. It looks like Cloud9 has already taken a step forward. We'll see if they can continue it. This top lane matchup is going very well in favor of the Gnar, right? That one bad trade was enough for Gnar to really just start taking a steady advantage. You see him getting the hyper procs off, getting 3 attacks off whenever he can against the Kennen. A little bit harder for the Kennen to do it in return, right? Kennen needs to time their auto attacks with their 5th auto attack, right? So it's every 5 to get that extra proc, whereas Gnar's getting it every 3 and also using the spell to aid to it. Also kind of difficult for a Kennen to access Gnar if Gnar just stands in the middle of the wave. So we're seeing where Gnar is showing some strength into this matchup, especially the way that Bin is playing it. Love to see these miniature adaptations within games, right? Who's going to figure out what, which play pattern is exploitable? Well, if Nar's going to keep on taking trading patterns up in the top wave, and by standing in the middle of the wave like that, then maybe there's going to be an opportunity for Kennen to ult flash. You force the jump from the Nar, and then in comes Nocturne. All you need to do is spell shield the ultimate, and that will be enough to kill a Nar that is mini. You can do it as the Nar bar is going down from the rage, right? So you're either coming from Mega Nar into Mini Nar and just gank that one, right? You force out the jump, you force out the flash, boom, you're done. You stick it with the Nocturne. Like right now would be a perfectly good time to go gank top, and we see Nocturne in range. Now Nar has kind of fallen folly to a Nocturne counterplay here. No, you know what? This is it. There we go. There's the deeper ward. But it is going to get him caught. Unfortunately, this is with a full bar, which means Nar is going to be able to use spells. You see them kiting out. Kennen's going to try to come in here. I want you to ult flash. Ult flash, please. Thank you. Continue this fight. No, Silas, do not short that spell. You cannot short that spell. If you're going to miss long, miss into the crowd. I know that Silas was saying, oh, this might be bad if we're going 4 deep into them since we're going to be the first ones, but could have gotten in and out. Team not willing to just pull the trigger together. You saw Blabber says, all right, I see it. I go. All right, Fudge says, I trust you. I'm going to flash on this. Silas does not. So suddenly you've left your team out to dry. And it could be true that the play's no longer there. But they could have gotten that. They could have gotten it, could have gotten out. Kennen still had charges, played a little bit too cautiously in that bush. Now, with the information afforded to them, maybe they were just saying, you know what, we're going to be fine. We've got leads elsewhere. But I don't like the sign in general that they're not willing to just finish the play and trying to make the most out of everything. Now, Zen, what are you doing over here? Taking a huge chunk of damage. Not worth it. Those are 2 highly mobile champions. Nami's going to get that speed boost up. And Sven ends up paying the price. Now, is he going to go dive into the river, right? So he's kind of trying to bait them away from the wave, right? You see this miniature step. You go up into the river. You put another ward down, saying it's not a big deal if they get the kill on this ward. What I want to do is pull them away from the wave so that Saya will get a faster and better recall return, right? So she's coming back to wave from her recall, and there's no pressure on her anymore, which means that she'll be able to push this wave back in while the Lucian and Nami go away. It also means that because they have to back off the wave, that the dragon's available for Blabber on Nocturne, right? So he's going to use that spell shield to stop one of those attacks and get a big attack speed boost. Nocturne is capable of killing this dragon by himself. And you see that Xayah gets the wave all the way in. Nocturne gets the dragon, and we may well see a rotation already. Xayah's coming over to mid-wave, and that makes a whole lot of sense. Now here we go. The Kennen ultimate, one of the best tools against Vi. They decide to split their resources, almost get both kills, but end up cleaning up Talia. And Yagao, who frankly has been the weakest part of this team thus far. We'll see if we get oh, we saw for a moment, unable to activate the second half. Oh, he's going to cast the ultimate. He needs one more dash. They will go under turret for this. Kennen, you missed. M&S getting out frame perfect, but that's going to spell his doom anyways. Kennen going to take some amount of trade. Probably should have gone way deeper on that. 100%. You had all the cooldowns down from the Nar, who lost his Mega. And you know that there's no threat there, right? Vi's dead. Talia already died. You see the other 2 people bot. No cooldown Nar could have been exploited there for sure. So would have liked to see Fudge take that. Ends up teleporting down to bot wave just to pick up, make sure that it keeps him off the turret as it's getting its final plates. So yeah, they opt to use that teleport to protect the 180 gold that could have gone Lucian's way. And now they're in this position with Fudge here. He's still got about 40 seconds left on his ultimate cooldown. Will they try to make a play into Lucian Nami? This would be frustrating to get wrong, right? You have highly mobile champions. Talia can arrive from a long distance away. You can have Vi, who can get over a wall. Blast Cone plus Q is enough to get a lot of distance covered. So they are definitely hovering here to help the Lucian get in. Now, this can be exploitable if you can act quick and fast, right? You have to be able to move super quick, but you also have to have an exit strategy. What cooldowns are we using to get the kill? And then what are we using to consolidate the fight after Talia shows up with a wall behind us? Talia, worth noting, we haven't talked about it yet. Talia and Nami, classic pairing. You do this Talia, Nami, Nar, right? This combination of champions works so well together, and we've seen this exact composition before in the finals, both at LPL and LCK, because of the high synergy between all the champions, right? Nami, Lucian, low range. What solves that problem? A big wall. What champion in top is great with a big wall split in the fight? Gnar. Gnar normally has some issues connecting people to structures or to the walls themselves, and so Taliyah can actually place that for you. Also, Nami Tidal Wave, put in one angle with a Taliyah wall going diagonally behind it to create a triangle, is virtually a guaranteed hit on your ability, right? You can force people into corridors that make it auto hit, and that allows people like Lucian and Gnar to get into damage. So highly synergistic team. We've seen it before, this exact roster. Sven burning flash but still dying. And that's what's going to be the challenge for C9 for the rest of this game, right? Taliyah, the ability to force fights from long range, the fact that Lucian can do the same, that Nami can abide and evade both of those. We do see the continued fight here. Berserker is going to have a really good line on this drawback right here. If he uses it, he opts to keep it. Maybe they must have dropped. They must have gone off cooldown right at that moment. They catch Bin going too deep, but not before he gets the kill. No, it's not a catch. Who's caught who? You're stuck in here with me. They actually get the kill. Nami showing how strong she is with Gnar, not just with Lucian. And that's going to spell a lot of trouble for Cloud9. 3K in the deficit. How are they going to come back? Now, we talk about the other team, right? You say, all right, you've got a highly synergistic team. Well, we've got Sylas that can pick whichever ult we need to disrupt with. The problem is that every time that you do that, you're actually opening the door for Billy's composition to get on you, right? You have so many champions with long-range engage. You've got Gnar with a double jump. You've got Vi with QR. You've got Taliyah from range. You've got Nami speed up. Lucian, of course, with his dash and Gale Force. So anytime you're stepping up, you're risking getting lambasted in these fights. But what we will try to see, I'm sure we're going to see Sylas try to pick up a Gnar ultimate or a Nami ultimate, basically try to go opposite them, right? They're trying to create the same shape. Well, they'll be susceptible to the same sort of spells that you are. Bin just hard carrying this fight. Even that step to the right to say, no, you have to move for one more auto attack means I don't die. And they get it. Whew. Guy's feeling himself. All right, let's see. Wall off as we prepare for Dragon. It looks like they're going to go for a burst. Now, the correct play here from Cloud9 would be to answer mid and push hard. And if push hard, they shall. They even have the Herald going, which means that they're calling the bluff. You should continue here. Absolutely continue. You like your team fight. You want them to come into you as Xayah, Kennen, and Sylas. In this angle, right? There's no good angle for them to come in on the right side. You've got escapes to the north and south. They opt instead to just take the money from the gold. And again, this is showing that Cloud9 is willing to just take bite-sized pieces out of Billy. And I don't like the prospects for this. I would like to see them take everything, right? You want to take the maximum every time. You don't want to take just enough. It seems like they're afraid of overcommitting. That has been their bane in international competition before. It's just going a little bit too far, but like the adjustment is not to not go far. It's to get better at going farther. Say, I can do it a little bit better for a little bit longer, and that's the sort of momentum that you can use to carry you through in games. We saw how it was not good enough for Mad, right? They played good for a lane phase, and then they're like, oh my God, we're almost going to beat T1. Turn out the lights. Here we go. Let's see. We see this combination now. Now, this is beautiful. Saving the back half of the ultimate for a moment. And saying, you know what? We're going to turn out the lights because we know what your predictable motion is. I want to be able to still have the counterattack. But Billy showing that they're just too strong. 2 full items on multiple champions here means that they're going to be flexing. You also have the Imperial Mandate finished on Nami. Jokingly full build here with Lucid Boots plus completed ward item and Imperial Mandate. The rest of the game is kind of downhill for Nami as far as normal self-scaling is considered. But again, for this team comp, right, this specific 5 champions together, Nami is the perfect glue. It gives them reach, it gives them speed, it gives them sustain. It is everything that they need to pull the trigger together. So Cloud9, what are you going to do? How are you going to make this play happen? Well, you may say, hey, they've got the long-range catch, so we don't want to be in any position where they're ever reaching to catch us. We want to instead let them go to a spot. The problem is, what are you doing in the meantime? Are you constantly just going into your own wave and letting them take jungle camps in between? Because every time that you go to a jungle camp, there's a chance that 5 members of BLG are going to show up in your lap. So this passive playstyle is not going to win. It is going to lose, in fact. And right now I don't see C9 making any other attempt at doing anything else. They may just be waiting. They say, you know, it's kind of random right now. All right, Talia ult answered by Nocturne ult. So this was the intent, right? They put the wall up. We're going to turn out the lights. We have Silas getting the beautiful Nami ultimate. That's exactly what we were talking about. Now, here's the turnaround, though. Gnar showing that he's just too strong, owning this fight. And the reach came in without the maximized damage from Xayah, meaning that they are not going to get anybody killed. And despite having a Nami tidal wave of our own, the fact that they actually have the Nami with all the rest of the spells is going to carry them through the fight, and they even get the cleanup kill on M&S. This game's looking pretty doomed. Both in its own texture and in the demeanor of Cloud9, right? Like, they have not... They've just been constantly pulling back. They're pulling out too quickly. There's more on the table. You got to get more. You have to take the maximum with every step. Now, that said, they're not out of it, right? They still have an exceptional teamfight team if the damage all comes in to one spot. The problem is Gnar is just always going to be a little bit better. Nami is going to be a little bit better in these situations, right? Rakan can go in all they want. But as long as Nami's able to get all these spells off, right? Maximum effect from everything. Gnar was able to hit maximum targets on everything. Nami was hitting everything, right? So everybody was getting full effect of their spells, all area of effect damage as well. The only, Lucian having some single target damage, but so focused and so powerful, right? That you just chew through the one that's already been AoE'd down. But everyone on the team is dealing AoE, right? Talia, massive AoE. Nami, AoE effects. Vi, even with the knockbacks and the splash damage. Everything that Gnar's doing. Everything's area of effect. So when you do clump in this fight, are you going to be able to compete with just Xayah dealing all the pass-through damage? No, right? Silas needs a very specific combination. Nocturne needs a very, very localized area of a fight for them to deal this maximum damage. And if they do, they're actually just walking into the AoE damage of even someone like Lucian, right? Who normally can't get multiple person Qs off in fights. And he's just going to be able to do that. You're also walking into Talia range. So Cloud9 forcing the issue here. They're saying, all right, you know what? We want it on our terms. We're going to force you to overextend in one direction. Now we see the Vi Talia combo going off right here. Fudge getting chewed up. They're able to trade up for the Nami, but Billy's going to be happy to take that. And of course, Bin is about to Gnar out right here, so he's going to dominate this fight. There actually was an angle to hold them to the right side of that wall there, but they opt to get the dragon first. Good job by Blabber using the spell shield. Can you get them? The option to turn around is there, but Billy does not give it to him. They walk out. And in this case, a little bit different, right? 4-on-4, except you've already used a lot of cooldowns. There's no imminent health lead. There's no threat right there. There is a turret that's helping to keep them corralled to one side, but the minion wave is in favor, and there's no reason to chase any further, right? You've got the dragon. You already won the fight trading Nami for Kennen, so you're happy to come back, say, all right, we'll set up, we'll do it again. This Vi Talia combo is beyond lethal. And even someone like Kennen, right? Even using an ultimate is not going to be enough to stop Vi and Talia from killing you. Now, I do want to talk about Vi's item, Radiant Virtue, right? We see a lot of Divine Sunder, but since this game is going to be about all-in team fights over and over, she's going for the Radiant Virtue, saying, hey, look, Silas, Nocturne, Rakan, Gnar, Kennen, Vi, all of them are going to be in one little clump. Well, what better item is there in the game than when I press my go button that we all heal up in that fight? So Radiant Virtue is going to be a tremendous advantage in these fights. Now, Nocturne, going for Anathema is another interesting item. You do get the extra fear on your target, but obviously he's going to be hitting Talia with this and then building armor the rest of the way. He's got plated steel caps, and he's going to be buying a Guardian Angel. So he's feeling that he's pretty strong against the physical damage threats here, and opting to say, hey, I need some amount of resistance for the Talia, and Anathemas is the best item in the game if there's a single person that you need to resist against and not an entire team. That said, there is a little bit of Nami damage here and there, right? It's not nothing, but just, Talia's not alone. Imperial Mandate will be proccing. Nami has decently high base values. You can't go this way, Sven. Is he going to get caught right here? Blabber staying in range for him. Okay, beautifully done. Opting to keep the ward alive, as they should. Beautiful placement right there. The threat is only ever going to be from Billy, right? If there's a fight over that wall. With them controlling the jungle and controlling the western quadrant, they're able to push up. They've got the flank angle. Talia is going to wall them off, and they're using this tool. I don't think they needed to use this. In fact, I'm positive they did not. But showing one of the versatile uses of the Talia wall, right? Finding exact angles. It is worth, by the way, if you are a pro team watching this game, you want to see the exact places that these players go, because they don't realize that they will have habits, right? But if they go to the same spot every single time, like they've gone into the practice tool and they've thrown their ult in multiple different ways, they've spoken with their coaches or analysts, and they have decided what the best spot to throw it from is. If you can find out what that spot is, which we just saw from Talia, and she's done it twice now, maybe you can exploit that. You can say, hey, going into the post 2 item stage of the game, Talia's going to go over here when they're sieging, and then maybe you can get a ward in a spot. They're like, all right, where did the team not look for wards? Where could we maybe see Talia going into this position? Or you might not even need the ward to know about them. Here we go with the fight, though. They're opting for the catch on Nami again, saying we can't trust or go after the rest of the fight. Kind of surprised to not see Gnar teleport in there, because he's got 80% of a Gnar bar, which is the perfect amount. So you see him starting to rotate over. This is going to be beautifully done by Bin. The timing is excellent. You tried to max out the bar so that you have the most amount of travel time. If you need to, if nothing happens, that's fine. You go back to your wave and you just start stacking it up again. But you see that Gnar is taking this moment and saying, hey, there's no one in the south quadrant. I can take this for myself. I can even take the red buff, and it's worth Gnaring out because I'll be able to get it back. There's nothing happening on the map. But yeah, as I was saying, if you can exploit a play pattern, and it can be anywhere, you can say, hey, we've seen Yagao play Talia 4 times recently, right? And in every single one of the games, in the winning position to get an inner turret, they stand here. And they throw this wall at this time as the wave is approaching. Well, that's exploitable, right? So you can say, hey, I've got a team, for example, if you have an inkling that that's the case, where you don't even need a ward, Rakan can just ult, dash over a wall, give vision, Nocturne can jump over, find the Talia, and enemy team will not be prepared because they think that they've set up good defensive vision. They think that you don't know where they are. We're just making an inferred decision about where Talia could be, where she probably is, and then just committing, right? But that's something that these teams don't do nearly enough. They're not willing to go on instinct. They're not willing to infer big decisions, right? And they say it's too big of a risk to cast an ultimate without knowing for sure what's going to happen. Well, the truth is, if you know what's going to happen, then they should know what's going to happen. If you are the underdog, smoke and mirrors. You have to change the rules of the game. You have to be willing to take risks. You have to be willing to guess. All right, here we go. First big cooldown used. We have Vi ultimate being stopped by stopwatch. We have M&S diving into the team, but he's going to get blown up. Nocturne using the rest of the fight. They're going to get Elk down, but is it enough? Yes, they do kill him, and now they get the stopwatch. So while this whole damage is happening, you saw a mistake by Xun and Bin. They were actually hovering over the Nocturne while there was still being damage being done. Berserker with a frame perfect flash or ultimate to answer the Vi flash Q play of the entire tournament so far. That moment, being able to react in that space of time, unbelievable. Sven using his stopwatch as well. Berserker going absolutely nuts in these fights, gets the E drawback, but it's not quite enough. Are they going to try for this? Was it just me, or did that Gnar Q boomerang go way too far? No props, I just got to see it. Right here. Oh, it's because he oh my gosh. My mind has been blown. He threw that Q backwards so that the follow-through damage would go further because it has more reach that way. I have never seen a Gnar hunt like that with a Q. Of course they know it. Of course. That is... wow. These guys never cease to amaze. All right, so here's the replay we were talking about. They are trying to spot out Fudge, right? And this is the best word, the best position you can have as a Kennen, right? You want to try to hover around these bushes, try to hover around the backside. The Infernal map can be a boon, can be a weakness. They say, all right, Fudge has gone off to the right. We can take the fight to the left, but Blabber is in. Now, check out this out. Blabber is Zhonya's. You have 3 champions just waiting for this. And in the meantime, Nami gets hit by the AoE pass-through damage of the Xayah. And they're not doing anything to stop the threat. Now, check out that play. So incredibly good to get the feathers fly in response. And he's able to get this pick. Now, does he have Legend Bloodline in the kit? And if he does, oh, definitely should have gone left there. That was a mistake. All right. So I'm not playing it perfectly. I'm a lot to ask to play perfectly, right? You find greatness. You seek perfection. And on the way, you will find some greatness. And then here, just the beautiful use of Q. Ah, they didn't show it. The spectators didn't realize just how good that was. Berserker thinking, man, maybe if I take one step to the left, I could have had this. But... promising that the fights are getting that close, right? The problem is that now we have a Dragon Soul. And so if the fights weren't going your way before, this Dragon Soul will continue to get it. And this is just evidence, Cloud9 not taking the maximum before means that now they're up against the wall. They were already down tremendously on the scope of this game. But now the Soul is likely enough to cement it. What they're going to look for is a pick just like this. So now you see the teleport in. M&S saying, I need to get out. I know that they're coming around this ward, but you know what? Zoning teleport. Very rarely used tool, but a zoning teleport there. Often it can get you killed. That's why it's so risky, but I love that he was willing and able to do it. Now they do say, I'm going to go for this engage while you're down a couple cooldowns. I do have a window. They punish Fudge for a tremendous mistake there. He's not even able to get his ultimate off before the Zhonya's. Means that this fight is going to be very tough for them to deal with. Now, Bin is chasing Berserker. This is not a fight that you want. You actually want to be over with the team dealing the AoE damage, but they decide to leave the job for the 3. And as the team is reinforcing, they come up and Bin just kiting off, or I should say zoning off Xayah and Nocturne. Tremendous mistake by Fudge. The teleport was ambitious. You didn't need to be in that position. There was nothing to gain, right? An enemy team could have opted to not do anything there. You weren't forcing anything. And as we saw, we weren't dissuading anything either because they're just like, okay, I'll take the free food. Let's take a look. What is Kennen looking at in this position? He thinks that he's shopping. He doesn't have any flash saying, here's the tool. Nope. Oh, all right, there it is. You know what? He thinks that he's teleporting in as they're hard engaging into Xayah. However, Xayah got her ultimate off, and they just already had called the play off. And so that moment, right, that half second, that decision needs to change. Team needs to be willing to audible. Fudge needs to realize, they can go another half step before he teleports in. Doesn't, and then Cloud9 is not willing to back him up, which seems like a mistake, especially being up numbers. So can they find more security in this fight? Nami absolutely blowing up this engage. Talia splitting the fight in 2. Actually does a disservice for her team, who had the advantage chasing on Blabber, but they're able to get it anyways. And, I like that Cloud9's looking for the play. You're turning off the lights anyways, but Talia's like, it doesn't matter. I know where this wall is going, right? I'm going to wall off. This can only be good, right? And we talk about if you do want to make presumptive plays, some amount of guessing being involved, you can always try to make the play that doesn't have weaknesses, right? All right, I throw that ultimate. Worst case is it stops my team from being able to chase their team. But it also has the benefit of potentially trapping some of their members on our side of the rock wall, and we'll be able to win. So beautifully fought team fights from the Chinese team. Who would have thought it? Billy takes game 1. I need to see some more from Cloud9 for sure. All right, we'll catch you in game 2.